This is my video essay on Are Girls Oversexualized? And the short story I'll be referencing is Lust by Susan Minow. In Susan Minow's Lust, the author dives deep into the layers of female desire, explaining personal yearnings with societal expectations, ultimately revealing the dark side of oversexualization that women endure. In the book Lust, the writer allows us to look into the inner lives of a character where desire often intersects with vulnerability and societal pressures. Through these experiences, Mino challenges the conventional portrayal of women as objects of male desire. She portrays the stereotype of women being over-sexualized at birth, but after some thinking, she also makes them as complex individuals with their own agencies and contradictions, navigating the lines between personal longings and societal expectations. What is really interesting to me is how the characters wrestle with the stereotype of being desired versus respected. They want for intimacy and connection, but often find themselves being viewed and treated as objects of lust by societal norms and male expectations. The struggle depicted by the author compares a larger societal issue where women are frequently oversexualized and reduced to their physical attributes at birth. Their worth is measured by their ability to conform to narrow standards of attractiveness. It's as if desires are disapproved yet simultaneously wanted, which inherently contradicts the societal expectations. They're expected to be desirable, but on the terms dictated by others, terms that often disregard their own desires and autonomy. These stereotypes challenges women to question these norms and narratives. Susan invites us to explore the complexities of female desire beyond the superficial gaze, to acknowledge the complex power struggles and vulnerabilities that come along with it. The first step towards combating this oversexualization lies in reclaiming the narratives of females and embracing everything about themselves, which should not be defined by how well a female can conform to societal expectations of desirability. They are more than that. They are multidimensional beings with the right to define their own identities and desires. In one of my sources, the article explores the effects of oversexualization and the objectification of women. The article mainly focuses on the mental health side of the stereotype. It talks about how social media and the world's of young women impacts a multitude of women mentally and physically. This relates to my article because it gives information on women being oversexualized and targeted in the world today. The harming impacts of sexualizing females in our present culture are examined in one of my sources, the Very Well site exposition. It talks about how the media, advertising, and cultural norms facilitate the objectification and sexualization of young girls, eventually leading to harming themselves, harming their self-esteem, body image, societal, social development, etc. This essay talks about how in the increase in sexualizing females, it can increase sexual violence and negatively affect the cognitive functions. This relates to my video essay because the objectification and sexual over sexualization of women really does connect to suicide, women girls low self esteem, etc. In my article, Not an Object on Sexualization and Exploitation of Women and Girls by the UNICEF, it talks about how the sexualization and exploitation of women globally. It talks about how some cultural norms and media representation and financial statuses also contribute to the objectification of women. Objectification has really negatively affected a lot of women and young girls. In the article, it talks about how they conducted research on young girls feeling beautiful, and only 11% of them said they feel beautiful, and only 6 out of 10 girls avoid doing life activities because of their body image. Another finding I found out in this research was that rape, domestic violence, dating violence, and sex trafficking happens all the time, but it's only ever dealt with when the victim comes forth and says something. I would recommend this article because the information it pertains to my stereotype, it gives a lot of information on the background of the stereotype of women being objectified, and also how women feel when it comes to being treated this way. So in conclusion, the short story I chose was Lust by Susan Minow. The article details the experiences of a girl growing up in her sexual encounters with boys. She has to deal with being objectified and over-sexualized with every boy that she has relations with. This stereotype that I will be debunking is the stereotype about women being overly sexualized and objectified. In my source, they talked about how being overly sexualized and objectified can be detrimental to mental and physical health. This is a serious topic that often gets overlooked because it's not talked about like other world problems and stereotypes. Women everywhere are affected by this stereotype, and some are even affected physically. Women being objectified reduces their value to physical appearance and sexual appeal, committing harmful stereotypes and undermining their confidence and contributions in various aspects of life. This objectification often leads to detrimental effects on women's self-esteem, mental health, and overall well-being, highlighting the urgent need for societal change and empowerment in women. Thank you for listening to my video.